All right, welcome, retro gaming fans and gamers alike. My name is Matt, and this is my gaming corner. All right, so today we're going to be doing part one of the Nintendo pickups for the month of November. In part one here, we're going to be going over the Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo's 8-bit gaming console. Now, first things first, let's take a look at some peripherals I picked up for the Nintendo. Starting off with the 8-bit Do. Now, a lot of people call this the DO. I don't know why. If you look at the spelling, if it focuses on it. It's 8-bit and DO. DO says do, not do. There's no E at the end. But this was the first pickup. This is one hell of a nice wireless controller. It's got two turbo buttons on here, and this thing works great. All right, the next controller that I did pick up. This one I picked up on a whim just because it's a bit larger, and that is the Retro Fighter. This is a Nintendo controller, believe it or not. It works on the Nintendo. It also works on the PC. It does also have turbo function and that. And I'm actually really impressed with this one. The analog sticks are phenomenal in games, especially in shooters, man. They got such great movement. Also in racing games like RC Pro-Am. This analog, I hit my mic. This analog stick is beyond belief in that game. I'm really impressed with that. This one I like a lot more just because of the size. It feels more modern. And this one, let me pull the cord up some. Not only does it work on the wrong cord, not only does it work on the Nintendo, I can also put this on my PC. This controller, well worth the money. All right, now that we got the peripherals I picked up out of the way, let's talk about some games. We will be showing gameplay footage in the process, but let's go ahead and go over the games. So most of these games that I picked up, actually every single one of them, are games that I really wanted on a Nintendo. I consider them all to be gems and that, and at least one of the games does have a remake. And that is going to be the first game I'm going to show you. That is DuckTales. I don't know who DB was on here, but it was their game. I thank you for letting me have your game. This game works great. And this one does have a remake. You can get it on Steam, I still believe. I'm not sure about the Xbox and the PlayStation anymore. I don't know if you can get it on that anymore because it was inside their store. You can get a disc version for the Xbox 360, though. I have seen that. But DuckTales here. One hell of an awesome game DuckTales is. You can't beat the original NES version of it, the way it came out, the way it was meant to be played. As you can see from the gameplay footage, it's just awesome. All right. The next game that I picked up for the Nintendo. This was one of them that was on my watch list on eBay. I walked into Respawn Retro Gaming. Now, all these games that I picked up were from Respawn Retro Gaming. One in Fond du Lac and the one in West Bend. This one coming up, I picked up in West Bend. This was a must-have game. I originally did play this in the arcades. It was because you can't find it really in arcades anymore. So it was a great arcade game. At least there's no arcade games out here anymore. But this was well worth the money. That is Donkey Kong Jr. Arcade Classic Series. I do remember playing this in the arcade. This looks very much like the arcade, as you can see from the gameplay footage going on right now. And, man, I forgot how, one, game looks easy, but it's difficult. And two, the game is fun as HE double hockey sticks. Hell, in case you didn't know how to do it that way. But the game is fun. I was getting my butt kicked in it because it's been so long since I played it, but man, is it worth it. Staying on the Donkey Kong theme, this is one when I went into Retro Respawn up in Fond du Lac. They had it sitting there. It was another one. He just got it in too. It was a brand new trade-in he just got. So there's no sticker on it, just like DuckTales here. That one also came from the Fond du Lac store. So there was no sticker on this one yet. He didn't have the price on here yet. I walked on in. He showed me what new games he's got. And I'm like, DuckTales, this one, and then there was a couple other. This was one I had to have. It was on my... Was this one? Oh, let's back that up a minute. I made one mistake in my opening statement. This is the only game coming up for the Donkey Kong games that I did get off of eBay. I do keep a bunch of games on my watch list on eBay. If I can't find them in the stores, I do buy them off of eBay. So this one did come off of eBay. So this is my fault here. This was an eBay buy. I forgot all about that. I am trying to keep all buys I do from here on out in retro stores in the area to help support them. But this one did come off of eBay. And it is Donkey Kong Classic. This one actually does have Donkey Kong Jr. on it also. But this is one hell of a game. Now, in some of my other videos, as you're going to watch gameplay footage here now, in some of my other videos I talk about how Sega's Go, Nax, Afterburner, Shinobi were like my first arcade games. They're the first ones I remember the most, and that I always looked for in the arcades. Donkey Kong and I believe Super Mario Brothers were the first real games I played in arcade, along with Pac-Man. But I was very young. Only could play money with that my parents gave me. As I got older and started playing, getting my own money and all that, it was always Sega games. But Donkey Kong here, you can't argue with how great this is. And Donkey Kong was really whooping my tail end, as you can see from the gameplay footage. But look how great this looks on a Nintendo. You have to play it. If you never played the original games where Mario and Donkey Kong showed up, you need to try these. They are challenging, they are fun, simple looking games, but they are fun to play. So there we go. Donkey Kong Classic Collection. Totally worth it. Alright, let's move back to Respawn Retro Gaming in Fond du Lac. Now, I am trying to, from here on out, with any buy I do, I'm trying to do it through local stores only. And it will just be games that I can't find in the local stores that I will do off of eBay. But we are now going back to Respawn Retro Gaming in Fond du Lac. One of the games that I got there was this one, DuckTales. Like I was saying earlier, before I realized that one of the other games were not from there, that I walked on in, Tony at Respawn Retro Gaming out here in Fond du Lac. His wife was working there at this time, and she showed me, Tony was on the phone with her and said, hey, show Matt the new trades that came in. And I asked him to hold a couple games for me. DuckTales was one because I had to have that one. You got to have that one on the Nintendo. This next game, if you ever watched that Atari unbagging, this would be no surprise that when I saw that in there, it was a, yes, want, big time, no complaint. Want type idea. I mean, when I saw that, I went, me want it. And now I own it. So, let's show you which one it is if you haven't figured it out yet. But it is Popeye, the Arcade Classic Series. This game, even with the fact that it was apparently a rental at one time, is just well worth the money. Now, this part kind of really impressed me with how well they know their gaming out there. I kind of figured they would. This is the 5-screw edition. They looked up to see if there was a difference in price, because a lot of these 5-screw ones are rare. For some odd reason. Oh, look, we put 2 more screws in it, makes it rarer. I don't get how the hell that happens. Pardon the accent, I have no clue where that came from. Yes, you do, it came from over here. Would you stop it now? Thank you, okay. But yes, Popeye. Oh, man. gameplay footage from Popeye. Way different than the Atari one. This is definitely, if not arcade perfect, close enough to where I did not care. Oh my god, I spent probably over 45 minutes playing Popeye. Truthfully, I did the same thing with Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. I was playing them like mad. But just look at how great these graphics are on the Nintendo. No, Sega never had Popeye. I wish they did. They never did. But Nintendo sure has it, and I totally forgot it was on the Nintendo. Alright, there we go. Popeye the Sailor Man, toot toot. Popeye. Alright, we are down to our last game. And this game, unfortunately, does not work properly. Now, I could take it back to Respawn Retro Gaming, you know, I know he doesn't have another one sitting there. I could get, you know, store credit and buy something else. Not going to do that with this game. I'm actually going to attempt, once I get the 2-bits to open it up. I have one other game in my collection that I have a double of. I'm going to try doing a board swap and see if I can get the game to work that way. Because the game itself does work, but by looking at it without being able to open it right now, the pins are messed up. So I want to try a board swap and see if I can get it to work that way. So I am going to attempt getting this to work. I'll show you a little bit in one of the corners what happens if I ever captured any footage of how the game comes up. But yeah, I can't get rid of this game because I heard this one is excellent on the Nintendo. I am going to get this sucker working. There is a guy on YouTube that I watch that tries doing board swaps. If I don't think I can handle it, I'm going to see if I can send it to him, see if he can fix it for me, and then get it back. I'll pay for postage and all that for him. And plus, I'll give him content to make too. But enough babbling. Let's show you what the game is. And it is Double Dragon 2. Now, you're not going to be able to see it, but yeah, the pins are... You can kind of see, if I don't smack my mic, in this, which corner? There it is. There's this corner down here. You can kind of see how the board looks a little damaged down there. When I look inside here, it looks like the pins are pretty screwed up. I need to get the tool bit to open it naturally. I don't have one. But then I can take a closer look at the board itself and see how bad the pins are. Because I think the pins are messed up on this one. But this is a game that I'm going to get this one to work, damn it. It's going to work. I don't even remember what Tony charged for it or anything like that. Don't really care. I'm going to get it to work, plain and simple. As long as the ROM on the cartridge is good, it's going to work when I swap it to a different board. That's all I have to do. Now, for anybody wondering about the board swap, from what I understand, you have to get a board that matches what board is in here, though. So I don't know if the extra game I have will use the same board. If it don't, I'm still going to try. Why not? What the hell? What do I got to lose? An extra game that I'm sitting on? But yeah, I am going to attempt the board swap with Double Dragon. Alright. Ta-da! So those were my Nintendo pickups for the month. For the regular Nintendo. Part 2 of this video will be the Super Nintendo. So stay tuned for that one. I got a few games for that one too. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Hope it didn't take as long as normal. And we'll see you guys in part 2.